The internet is a very deceptive place. Things are not always what they seem, and with my experience in the horror genre, I know plenty of them. And I guarantee you guys know plenty of videos that aren't as they seem. You know the ones. The infamous car video with the screaming zombie towards the end, Obey the Walrus, or even the likes of I Feel Fantastic. All videos which are beyond odd and totally out of left field. And I'm sure that even when I'm typing this down, there will be more. But throughout the sea of videos just like those, there is one that stands out to me just the most. A video so convoluted, so controversial, and so distinct, I could never forget it. And what video is that? It's none other than Mememe. This video dropped out of nowhere in 2014 for the Japan Animator Expo, produced by Teddy Lloyd, with vocals from Dayako, and the visuals being made by Hibiki Yoshizaki, forgive my pronunciations. This video is a product of absolute creativity, deceptive storytelling, and with a powerful message layered deep within it. At first glance, most people would dismiss it as a simple shock video because of its very adult themes and explicit visuals. But deep down, Mememe has a brilliant story behind it, and we will discuss it today in depth. So stick around and pull up a chair as I will explain why Mememe is a masterpiece. But before we do, I would like to stress that this video contains some dark subject matter, like addiction, violence, and death, and it has a ton of flashing lights, so if any of you are epileptic, I would advise you to either not watch the video and simply listen to the audio, or just skip it entirely. I would also like to thank CherryNobel for granting me permission to use some of their footage from their video for the sake of this video. The link to their channel will be in the description down below. But without any further ado, let's analyze the story. Mememe at its core is a story about addiction, love, lust, desires, and sorrow, and the dangers that come with it all. We open with a shot of the main character of this story, named Shu. His eyes look vacant and distant, almost as if he is in some kind of trance. The camera pans out to showcase his room. Already, we can tell by his room what kind of situation he found himself in. This is a classic case of being an otaku. An otaku is a person who has consuming interest with things of pop culture. Things falling under this category are anime, gaming, the internet in general, pop culture, and so on. We can see much to support this theory, as we see anime figurines, a poster behind his bed, and many books which are most likely manga. Not to mention we see a weapon most likely also from an anime, based on its over-the-top design. We then pan over to the screen, which showcases two beautiful anime women. The desk itself is also a giveaway that Shu is a little bit of a slob. Cigarette butts lay about and, something white is stained on the desk as well. The video gives us no time to take in everything, as the two women giggle and happily introduce us to the screen, as we see Shu staring with a dopey ecstasy painted face into the screen. This shows us that what we will see is from his point of view. The camera then spins around to showcase the title, Mememe. Happy and upbeat music plays as we are greeted with several copies of the Blue Woman, whose name is dubbed by the fans as Meme-chan, dancing and showcasing their, proportions. However, do not be fooled by the visuals. There is more to this tale than the jiggle jiggles you see on screen. The over-the-top visuals signifies the first instance of Shu's situation, and the first part of the song, the blissful segment as I dub it, defined by its bright colours using blue and pink predominantly. This is symbolic of feeling joy, happiness, pleasure and ecstasy, which oftentimes coexists with watching, or in Shu's case, having an addiction to pornography. But I think the giveaway of this situation lies in the lyrics. Judging by these sets of lyrics, we can confidently say that Shu was once in a relationship with a woman, and despite his current addiction, he still thinks of her. The whole first segment of Mememe is dedicated to this girlfriend and the good times that they had. Combine this with the background, it shows that Shu really did love this woman. However, the lyrics and the video lean more perverse, as the clothings the meme chans wear go from a mildly conservative dress to a full-blown two-piece bikini with plenty of lewd camera shots. This can be taken as Shu's mind being slowly diluted down. Her love is slowly being replaced only by the lust that Shu feels about her. We can see clearly how overly exaggerated Meme Chan's body is, extremely voluptuous and curvy. But this is most likely how Shu remembers or envisions his girlfriend to be, now that his mind has been rotted by perverse pornography. And this is also a sort of jab or warning at the watchers. If they just assume Me is simply a work of pornography, they are wrong, and they will miss the message deep within the story, as it is hidden by all of the flashy imagery. Shortly after this blissful imagery gives us a false sense of security, the video takes a sharp turn. What was once a bright and happy colourful background with lovely sounding lyrics has now morphed and twisted into a nightmarish realm of black and crimson reds. We now enter the next portion of this video, when the bliss wears off. The women are now completely naked. Piercings and wirings are connected to, let's just say, weird places, as the dancing they do is now more erotic in nature. Obviously I can't showcase this because YouTube's guidelines, but the uncensored version is out there if you are brave enough. However, don't go anywhere near this video if you are under the age of 18. The lyrics also turn more twisted as the song ramps up. This is most likely referencing Shu and his girlfriend, called Hannah. It showcases their breakup. By the lines, "You told me I'm all yours," this says that Shu was the one to either be unfaithful or neglectful to Hannah, and this is her reaction. And the rest of the lyrics are her thoughts about the breakup. "Are you sure you have not created and moulded an idol out of me?" This most likely references the fact that Hannah is aware of Shu's growing addiction to the otaku culture. Idols are quite common, be it actors, singers or the sort, and people could easily become obsessed with that. And their love for the real world women, their real relationships, would begin to weaken. Look at the real world case of Ricardo Lopez, how he became obsessed with the singer Bjork. It really is a relatable message. And this is clearly what's happening with Shu and Hannah. During our trip into this chaotic madness, we spot the main antagonist of the story, the true embodiment of all of the issues with the otaku culture and pornography, known as Fallen Hannah or Evil Hannah. She is the true one in control here. All of the meme chans are now under her control. We see her approach Shu. This is him being confronted with what his addiction truly is. A nightmare. He acts with horror and tries to flee for his life, only to trip on a wire and causing one of the meme chans to conclude. Fallen Hannah then completely smothers Shu with her gazongas as the music cuts to a halt. We cut back to Shu as he is awake from the trance he was just in, the high of the pleasure having worn off. The TV screen now has a pair of milk jugs on them, as suddenly they expand and enlarge as Fallen Hannah bursts out of the screen and into the real world. This is symbolic of Shu's addictions to these things beginning to affect his real life, hence her coming out of the screen. She springs around the room and corners him as he is terrified. The figurines come to life as Shu is now confronted with his problems. Evil Hannah then straight up removes her face, revealing a twisted version of Hannah underneath it. This could be a sign that his addiction is trying to coerce him back into its twisted hands by taking the shape of something that means a lot to Shu. In this case, Hannah. She moans and pins him down below her. She gags a few times and regurgitates some kind of liquid into his mouth, causing him to pass out once more. As the song transitions to its second part. The second part of Mememe is a lot more somber than the first half. However, it gives us more clues as to how this is affecting Shu and more context behind the whole story. The lyrics in this half confirm everything we had thought to this point. Let's break this segment down. Slowly as the days and months would fade away is the life of the fruit that will make you sway. My guess is that this line is referring to the relationship slowly rotting over the days and months. The life of the fruit that will make you sway is most likely Shu's sense of restraint slowly dwindling as he edges closer to addiction. Nothing left but disappointment of the life you have lived. That you had, it's true. This is 100% referring to how disappointed and sad Hannah is about Shu's life. Or, it might be about Shu reflecting on himself and where his life choices had taken him and what they had brought him. Nothing but disappointment for the life he had once lived. But the biggest giveaway for Shu being the main source of the breakup is, all it took was just a blow to divide all of our days apart, and I'm crying, love me, feel me, please come back to me. This is Hannah calling out for Shu. She desperately wishes to rescue him from his addiction and wants to love him again. But despite all of that, it seems that her pleas are falling on deaf ears, as she could do nothing but sob in the sadness. Even if you aren't paying attention to the words, the visuals also gives us some clues that this segment is more about raising questions. The first shot is Hannah appearing. Her clothing then shreds. While this may just seem to be unnecessary nudity, in actuality that is not the case. This is actually showing us that Shu's mind is only caring for the sexual portion of their relationship. When he imagines Hannah, instead of the happy woman he once loved, Instead, it's a naked body, which happens to have her face attached to it. This emphasizes just how dangerous being obsessed with pornography is, as it begins to warp your mind and corrupt yourself and how you see other women. The second portion of lyrics is not from Hannah's perspective. I believe it's from Shu himself. I'm falling down into the depths, and I no longer feel. I am trapped inside unconsciousness. I will tell myself that it is going to be okay. I will sing it out loud, but lights are fading out now. This is most likely him coming to terms with the fact he has a problem. He feels that he is completely trapped in an endless cycle with no way out. He fades in and out of consciousness as he smokes cigarettes and watches perverted media the whole day. The perverted meme chans also make an appearance in suggestive poses, yet when we cross a corrupted image of the two meme chans, it suddenly switches to a normal image of Shu and the real Hannah, showcasing that despite everything, there is still a tiny crackle of light in there. Shu still does care for Hannah, but he feels as if his addiction is eating him alive. We then cut to one of the most impactful shots of the whole video. Shu and Hannah standing alone in the middle of the dark. There is a fork in the road. We see Hannah crying desperately on the ground in pure sorrow. We see either Hannah or Shu remembering the other, and the lyrics support this. I remember how you smell. It's so sweet. Shu turns away from the crying Hannah, symbolizing their breakup in the real world, as Shu walks towards the darkness, which is his own addiction. We then cut back to Shu, whose eyes are full of tears and regret. He tries desperately to run over and reunite with Hannah, but he falls short and collapses to the ground, as the music thunders back to life. We cut back to see a gruesome sight of Shu literally being eaten alive by his addiction. A disgusting, disfigured evil Hannah devours him for a short time, before sprinting away. I need not explain what this symbolizes, as I think it's pretty easy to figure out. Hannah approaches the mutilated body of Shu, and plants a kiss on him. This is Shu's mind's attempt to try and spark the fight within him, to defeat the addiction and reunite with Hannah. Flashes of past memories flow past his eyes as Shu remembers his love, but just as soon as he is so close to Hannah, she vanishes and is replaced by fallen Hannah, who morphs into some battle armor and flies away, hinting a battle is ahead. Now the lyrics for this segment further support my claims. So let's go through them. Miles and miles away, you are still the number one thing on my mind. Even since then, from the moment when I had a dream, the flower that I saw brought you to me. This shows the viewers that Hannah still thinks about Shu and wishes that the two of them could be reunited together. Shu gifted her a flower on one of their dates, and she clings to that happy memory, hoping one day he will snap out of it. So please remember everything that we had once upon a time in our fairy tale dream. Though it hurts a little more than you thought, I'll be waiting for you. This is Hannah begging Shu to remember all the positive times they had together, the love and the companionship, and solely not the lust behind it. She is willing to wait for Shu. This is it. All the stakes are high. It's time to see if Shu can fight his addiction and win, or if he will fall to its temptations. Blast that music. The final act of Mememe roars as Shu has been granted one final chance to break his addictions. He screams in pain, realization and hope. His body gets morphed and contorted into battle armor as he is granted a weapon to fight back. He is then transported into a twisted realm as we go first person. We see as several of the corrupted meme chants dive off walls and jump around, all the while giggling in psychotic glee. Shu mercilessly shreds each and every one of them as they approach him. All of them scream in pleasure and pain as they explode into liquid. While this initially seems like a good thing, Shu is fighting his addictions. If you pay attention to how fast and violent everything is going, this will only lead to his fall. He is trying too quickly to defeat his addiction, instead of eliminating it slowly but surely. The lyrics support this. These lyrics are showing Shu desperately trying to hold on to the few remaining scraps of his mind that aren't corrupted by lust. This is him bellowing to himself as he tries to remember her. After Shu is stunned by one of the meme chants, we see Hannah for a split second as fallen Hannah takes control. In my opinion, this is one of the most crucial scenes because of how subtle it is. I believe that the meme chan, which manages to grab hold of Shu's gun and stun him, is a metaphor for him slipping on his battle of addiction and relapsing. And all it takes is one relapse for everything to come crashing down. And that literally happens as the floor shatters and Shu is falling into a dark void. Shu's helmet shatters as his left hand is severed. He then briefly sees Hannah falling through the void. This is representing the final chance that Shu has in order to rescue his mind. He tries so hard to reach out, even with all of the pain and the bleeding. But alas, he couldn't reach her. Shu watches with terror as Hannah disappears into the void. But for now, Shu cannot accept the fact that she is gone, and continues battling forward. And now with her goal firmly secured, it's time for fallen Hannah to party. The song takes a sharp turn for its final minute. Shu falls and floats towards a demented rave type area, as we see that fallen Hannah has captured the real Hannah. In actuality, she had truly disappeared when she fell into the void earlier, but this is Shu's attempt to try and deny the fact she is gone. We see fallen Hannah absorb the real Hannah into herself as the photograph of Hannah and Shu cracks, symbolizing their memories together and now being destroyed. And what follows next is the total collapse of Shu's mind to lust. Several of the meme chans appear as their breasts enlargen and begin firing bullets at Shu in rapid succession. We see Shu desperately trying to shield himself from their attacks, from his own lust. But alas, they keep breaking through his defenses, or his mind. The photo of Shu and Hannah is completely destroyed, signalizing that all hope is lost. Shu could do nothing but stare with sadness and regret as his limbs are blown off one by one. Now powerless and unable to defend himself, the Meme-chans and fallen Hannah close in on him with sadistic glee. They surround him, making sure that he has no chance of escaping. Fallen Hannah gently caresses Shu lovingly as she plants a kiss onto his lips. Shu, seeing no other comfort, accepts the kiss, fully symbolizing he has succumbed to his addiction. After the kiss, we see Shu's decapitated head falling slowly to the ground, with one final sayonara from his lust. His eyes open once again, showcasing the cycle of addiction will repeat once again. And to further show this point, the video is perfectly looped. When Shu first opens his eyes, and when he does at the end, it is exactly the same. If you play the video straight on from when it ends, it will look identical to the start, showing us that this is indeed an endless cycle. Time for the final analysis of the third part. The final sets of lyrics in this song are filled to the brim with false hope and self-loathing. These don't need much explaining, as the words aren't very subtle, so I will simply let the song play. Also because, holy hell, this is my absolute favourite part of the song. Try to keep up with the lyrics, as they go quite fast. I truly hoped you enjoyed my analysis of Mememe. This video is often misrepresented as simply sexual content and nothing else. But no, deep inside of its animation lays a very deep and relevant story. I hope I've been able to convince you guys that this animation truly is a masterpiece of storytelling. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and if this video gets over 50 likes, I might tackle the quote-unquote sequel called Girl. I will see you all later. Take care, my darks.